Hi, welcome to NDTV. This is Lata Srinivasan, and we have with us today the son of Tamil star Vikram, Dhruv Vikram. Welcome.
Thank you.
Usually it's all the big Tamil stars who have a Diwali release, but this time it's going to be you with Mari Selvaraj as Bison. How excited are you about this?
I'm extremely grateful for it. It's a blessing, and it feels surreal that film that I'm in is releasing during the festive season. So yeah, surreal is the word I would use.
Mari Selvaraj had said somewhere that, he wasn't too sure if you were the right person for this film. What, made him change his mind, and how did you convince him?
I, at the beginning of this process, may have not been the right person for this film, but fortunately he gave me the time and space to prep for this character, which was a very large part of my life for the past few years. And at the very end of it, I think he finally felt that I was ready. But up until that point, he was very particular on not shooting until he was confident about the way that I played and how I got into character.
Right. Did you do any acting workshops? How was the process? Because, this takes place completely in a rural area, rural setup, and everything is different. Even the way they speak is different, right? So what was that acting process you went through?
Usually, ma'am, I think a workshop means it's very systematic, right? You wake up and you go to the workshop and you do a bunch of different exercises, but this was not that. This was forgetting about the kind of life that I have lived in the city at home and spending time there with the people, plowing the fields, working on the fields, playing kabaddi, spending a lot of time with the boys over there that I learned to play kabaddi with. So I wouldn't really call that a workshop, even though it was. It just became the way that I spent my days. That eventually turned out to be how I got into the role. Yeah.
But you also injured yourself, right? It wasn't easy.
Yes,
during
I
the shoot.
have broken my hand.
Yeah.
I've broken a few teeth. There was a lot of that, and a lot of other injuries also. Yeah.
Right. But when you were going through that pain of that, at that moment, did you think, "Oh God, why am I doing this film?" Did that ever cross your mind?
No, absolutely not. I knew that at the end of this, beyond how this is going to turn out as a film, I knew that the day that I complete shooting is going to be of immense relief, satisfaction, and is going to make me feel something spiritual on some level that I've never felt before. So I was always looking forward to that day and working toward that. Never actually how this movie turned out or what it's going to be when it finally becomes a film, but more toward the day where I'm finally done with all of it is what I was looking forward to.
Right. Mari Selvaraj always makes very socially conscious films. He talks about caste atrocities and so on. What was this film like? Does it have shades of that? And, can you tell us a little bit more on that?
It definitely does have shades of that. And I think that's very key to Mari sir's film language. I don't think he would ever want to make a film that doesn't speak about his people and the things that happen. This social fabric plays a very important part of this film, and it drives the narrative forward in a really interesting way that I can't tell you about yet.
Right.
But I'm really looking forward to people seeing that and seeing how we manage to incorporate a sport as well as the social narrative in this film.
Okay. How is director Mari Selvaraj as a director? And what were the learnings you had from him, given that this is your third film?
Mari Selvaraj sir as a director is the most hands-on, the most creative. He's crazy about cinema, and he's kind of obsessed with it in a way that it's like, I feel like he doesn't think about anything else, His intention as a filmmaker is what drew me to him.
Right.
The fact that he just always wants to make a good film in every sense, aesthetically, commercially, socially. And as a director, he's so hands-on in a way that I've never seen before, and I don't know if I will see again. in the fact that he won't sit in front of the monitor. He will come, he will play kabaddi and show me what to do.
Right.
He trained with me for months. He also injured and broke his hand.
Right.
So he does the whole 9 yards, and it was a privilege to work with him. I wish to work with him again, and I also believe that every actor deserves an opportunity to work with this person at least once in their life, to know how the process of his cinema can be.
Right, and of course we have to talk about your dad, you know, Tamil star Vikram. I mean, you sound exactly like him to a great extent. What was his advice to you when this film came your way?
He was extremely happy to know that Mari sir had this story, and he was really specific about the fact that I set aside a certain amount of time for this film because that's how much he believed in Mari sir's vision and his craft. And one of the biggest influence that he had is I've not ever been someone that's dealt with a lot of physical discomfort or injuries when it comes to my acting, but that's something that he's dealt with for decades, right? So that was something that I would constantly talk to him about, the process of how physically excruciating it is to shoot this film. And he had a very big influence on helping me to stay driven and motivated and getting to the finish line.
Okay. You know, you've done 3 films. Well, this is your 3rd film, technically, right? You made your debut on screen in 2019, and then you had another film, of course, with your father, Mahan, and Bison is now releasing for Diwali on October 17th. But you've said clearly that you feel like this is your first film, right? Though you've done a couple of films earlier. Why is that you feel this is your first film?
I feel with my debut, which was Aditya Varma, since it is a remake and there's already an original version for that film that was done to absolute perfection by an amazing talent, whatever I did, no matter how true I was to the character and how unique I tried to make it in my own way, it was an interpretation.
Right.
So people knew the story and people knew exactly what I was going to do. They just didn't know how I was going to do that. With Mahan, I see that as a collaboration between Karthik Subbaraj sir and my father. So I played a very small but important role in that film, yet it was not my film and it was also an OTT release. But this film is the first time that I have put this much effort into and been responsible for a protagonist's arc from the beginning to the end of a story. And I find it to be quite defining of the artist that I'm going to be in some way. We'll see.
Okay. But do you regret doing Aditya Varma?
No. Aditya Varma, to me, in whatever way, it was a win, because before that I was a boy that didn't know that I could act, that didn't know that I would ever be, how I would fare in a comparison to Vijay Deverakonda or Shahid Kapoor sir.
Right.
So the fact that I did that film, and also it was received pretty well. There's a lot of people now, I realize, in the past couple of weeks, that have actually liked that performance. And also, it was nice to play that role. Yeah.
Okay. But you feel this is your debut film because you are the lead, and do you think that this is going to make a significant impact in terms of the work you're going to do in future?
Ma'am, I have no idea about how my trajectory should go, what kind of films I should do, and what is the right strategic career move to make after this.
Okay.
I am afraid I'm not that kind of actor, even though I believe that I need to be. I am not that. I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know what kind of opportunity will come. I don't know if it will come also. All I know is that this film is extremely special, and I believe that it will have an important place in Tamil cinema, or I hope that it does. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay.
So the one thing that I'm looking forward to the most is to just watch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But your father, of course, you know, plays a very significant role in your life, right? Do you feel that, you know, if movies should have just come flowing your way the minute you decided to make your debut, given the fact that you're Vikram's son? Has that happened or not happened? Because the number of films you've done since then has been, very less.
I have had a fair amount of stories come my way. I don't know how I would have fared in those stories.
Okay.
So yes, there was a point where there was a lot of stories coming my way. Yeah.
But does your father help you in decision making with those films, or it's all a Dhruv Vikram decision?
So far, just to actually think about it, even with regard to Bison, it was my mom and dad who really forced me to get out of my comfort zone and start learning kabaddi much before I even started shooting this film, maybe 2.5 years before that.
Okay.
So they definitely do have a part in it.
Right.
But I hope going forward, I think I'm right now at a stage where I am making some of my own decisions.
Okay. But living up to Vikram's legacy, it can be a burden, right? Or it can be a motivational factor. What is it for you?
Both.
Okay. So how are you dealing with it?
It is a very unhealthy process of me constantly having the vision of this man in my brain every time I work.
Right.
It pushes me to do better, to work more, to work harder. But at the same time, there's no fun in it. You go through a lot of adversities. When you see a lot of Bison, 100% of this film, I was always wondering, okay, my dad, he does so much with a broken leg. I don't know if you know about his accident. He had one in the early years of his life. So, if he can do so much, then you shouldn't be complaining at all, is the one thing that I constantly have in my mind. And I wish this could be like a constructive, positive approach to it. But unfortunately, so far, it has not been. But from this immense pressure, I guess, comes a decent performance. I guess I have to find the balance of not having that be my approach at some point, because it's not sustainable.
Okay, but has your dad seen the film though?
No.
He hasn't seen it yet. So when are you all expecting to watch it?
I guess I will watch it on the first day. Okay. My mom on one side, my dad on one side. I'll hold both the hands and just watch it as a
giving
family.
birth to a new baby, I guess.
No, it's also because, ma'am, I've never made them proud when I was in school. I was a really bad student.
Okay.
And especially my mom, we had to deal with a lot of PTA meetings, hearing a lot of complaints about me. My dad came to school, I think, a couple of times, and he dressed really well, wore a nice shirt and walked in, and not a single teacher had something nice to say about my academic progress.
Okay.
So I've always waited for that moment to make them proud.
But did you always want to become an actor, or was it like decided when you were a child that yes, Dhruv is going to become an actor?
When I was very young, I used to enjoy watching my dad, and I used to live vicariously through him on screen. But somewhere along the way, it became really hard for me to talk about wanting to be an actor or even thinking about it, because through my adolescence, you don't end up being the most popular kid if you say that you want to get into something like acting.
Right.
Especially when you're a star kid. So, yes, I wanted to be one on a very subconscious sense, and then it just happened. And now I'm truly trying to figure out whether I want to be an actor or not amidst all the chaos.
Okay. How do you respond to all the trolling on social media that I'm sure you receive just like all other celebrities do?
I try my best not to pay attention to it because, like you mentioned, a lot of legends have gone through this.
Right.
People that have reached unimaginable heights, and I don't think they ever paid heed to it. Now, I'm not saying that I will ever even be close to that, but I understand that you always look at history when you want to learn, right? And I think that they always prioritized their goals and their mental health in order to be focused, and that's something to learn from.
But do comparisons with your dad affect you in terms of your acting?
I feel very proud that I can be compared with him.
Okay.
But beyond that, not really. No. Should it?
No. But generally when you are, a star son or daughter, there is always a comparison with the parents saying, oh, so-and-so is such a fantastic actor and so on. So, and social media does talk a lot about that.
See, I can never be my dad. I can never do close to what he has done in
Right.
terms of his art and also in terms of how much he has struggled in his life. I think he truly defines a person who came from absolutely nothing in every sense.
Right.
There are many actors. I'm a bit biased because I maybe shouldn't get into that. But yeah, he was someone who was a true outsider for 10 years, struggled, had a bad leg, had absolutely rows of really bad films, and he finally made it and still continues to work so hard. So I really don't think I would have been able to do any of that if I was in his situation. But in some way, it is a small privilege to be compared to him. And I would hope that I reach a point maybe in 10 years where people say, wow, Vikram and his son are really good actors.
Okay. What are some of the things your dad said you shouldn't do, you know, when you get into the film industry, or you should be wary of?
We've not had that kind of conversation, but he's always told me to be extremely aggressive with my roles. And by aggressive, I mean extremely focused and like a horse with blinders. You don't look anywhere else and you give it your absolute best.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's never had any controversies. So has he taught you how to handle controversies, if at all anything comes up?
No. I think we as a family were extremely private. We have a really nice little harmonious home with my mom, my dad, my sister, husband, my niece. And it's kind of a little bubble that we don't let anything infiltrate.
Right.
So it's important keeping the peace like that. So yeah.
Okay.
We just try to nurture that as much as we can.
Okay, so coming back to Bison, October 17th is the big release, and I heard you say somewhere that this movie is for everybody, right? What did that encapsulate when you said this is for everybody? You know, you said go with your family, go with your boyfriends, girlfriends, you know, whoever.
I said go with your family, go with your babies,
Yeah.
go with your boyfriend, go with your friend, go with your friends.
Yeah.
I truly think it's a movie that everybody can watch and that everybody will enjoy. And I hope that's what it turns out to be. I strongly believe that that's what it's going to be.
Okay. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Oh, we're done?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.